I had to start my metabolic health journey again from scratch, here's exactly what I would do and what I would stop doing. Hi, I'm Megan. I have a master's in health and chronic disease. I've been a certified personal trainer for over 10 years, and I work in the functional and integrative health and wellness industry. I help clients lose body fat, build muscle, and focus overall on longevity and health. And the biggest mistake I see with clients today is that they assume that their metabolism is broken. Their body is broken. They're doing everything and nothing seems to work. And then I come in and I really build up these foundations, and suddenly everything starts going according to plan. So today I'm going to teach you about 10 years worth of metabolic health education in under 10 minutes. Okay, the first thing I'm going to teach you is that protein is non-negotiable. And the reason for this isn't just because in the bodybuilding world it's protein. You build muscle, blah, 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 protein. There's more to it than that. Your body needs protein to build muscle, but also to balance your hormones and even to regulate your blood sugar. And these are very important things if you want to lose weight and even build muscle. The fact of the matter is most of us are probably under eating protein and or getting it from the wrong types of foods. So if you're someone who's surviving on protein-like foods, I'm talking protein bars, protein shakes. Now, there is a balance here, and I do understand some of those things are beneficial, but if you are not eating protein from real whole food sources, I'm talking about protein from the land, from the sea, fish, beef, pasture-raised poultry, even high quality forms of dairy, if tolerated, then you are doing your body a disservice. General rule of thumb I recommend for clients, and everybody is different, would be 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So if you are looking to be around 150 pounds, I would make sure that throughout your day, you're taking in 150 grams of protein from grass-fed beef, poultry that has been pasture-raised, wild-caught fish, and high-quality forms of dairy. If tolerated, of course, eggs fall under that too. Okay, so you gotta eat more protein. The second one is build some muscle. Now, if you are a female watching this video and suddenly you are picturing yourself getting bulky or looking a certain way, I can assure you that is not how that's going to work. And if that has happened in the past, something went wrong in your journey. That is not strength training's fault, okay? So this goes for both my male clients and my female clients. You need to build muscle. Muscle is metabolically active, meaning you're going to burn more fat at rest. And we need that because as a human society, we're pretty freaking sedentary, okay? Most of my clients are not getting 10 to 15,000 steps a day. And sometimes they're not able to because of their jobs, their families, etc. We'll dive into more of that later, but the more sedentary you are, the more muscle mass is so important to build up your metabolism and burn fat while you're sitting at your desk, while you're moving around, while you're running errands, even while you sleep. Muscle is metabolically active. We need protein to build muscle. We also need to strength train. So if you're newer to strength training, I would highly suggest getting with a professional who can check your form, who can teach you how to do these things. Compound movements, squats, deadlifts, push-ups, rows, all of those are so important to build muscle, especially if you're eating enough protein. That brings us to the third lesson I'm going to teach you, and that is all about insulin. Now, please don't turn this off. I am not going to make this a science lesson, but you need to have a basic understanding of insulin because it is the driver of fat loss, and it's also related to chronic disease prevention in general. We have to think of it this way. Insulin helps to shuttle nutrients into the cells, but chronically elevated insulin, that's where things fall apart. And then we get things like fat storage, weight gain, inability to lose weight. And also related to that is stronger incidence of chronic disease. We are finding out more and more that a lot of chronic disease that develops later in life happens to those of us who do not have control of our insulin. So this isn't just about being diabetic or pre-diabetic. This is for everybody. All of us could benefit in learning about our insulin and how to keep it more regulated. If you asked me, what is one thing I should learn more about my body? What is the one thing I should test? I would get a handle on your blood sugar and your insulin response. Now, for the purpose of this video, to simplify this, you need to know that the more balanced your insulin is, that can lead to fewer cravings, faster fat loss, better muscle gain. And the big thing I hear from my clients when we get their insulin in check is, I don't have energy crashes anymore. I'm up at this time. I'm running around working. I'm with my kids at the end of the day. I sleep more soundly. Insulin is so important. And now the next question probably is like, well, how do I keep my insulin balanced? There's going to be a whole other YouTube video on that. So please like and subscribe if you're interested in that. But for the purposes of this video, how to better balance your insulin for fat loss, for longevity, for chronic disease prevention, and better energy. Well, it's governed by a few things, such as your metabolism. So if you build muscle, your insulin is better managed. Movement. If you move more, specifically after meals, even a 5 or 10-minute walk post eating a meal can better your insulin response. And then finally, eating quality foods. If you are relying on cookies, crackers, cakes, liquid calories, then your insulin is going to be all over the place. It's going to be very, very hard to balance it. So you need to not only pick the right foods, but from the right sources, which brings us to the next section, very much related to insulin. And that's carbs aren't the problem. It's the type and the timing. Once you dial in the type and timing when it comes to carbs, you're going to better regulate your insulin and you're going to feel better, have more energy, build muscle, burn fat. Okay, so what are the right types of carbs? I'm so glad you asked. This is probably not news, but cookies, cakes, crackers, chips, pretzels, even most grains, I'm not recommending in the first 30 days of a fat loss journey. It's just not going to benefit you. These are either highly processed or they have minimal nutrient benefits to them. So if I replace your carbs with sweet potatoes, low glycemic fruits like berries that have so many more benefits to them, you're going to succeed a lot easier. When you eat the processed carbs that come from cookies, cakes, pretzels, processed packaged foods, or even some grains at the wrong times and paired with the wrong foods, your blood sugar is going to spike, you're going to have a crash, and then you're going to have a craving later in the day. So, what are the 2 rules for carbs that I would recommend you follow right away on a health journey to get the most results? Well, first off, don't eat the crap carbs. We know what those are, obviously, but maybe we don't know as obvious that rice and grains and things like that, unless you're very active in strength training, they may not be benefiting you as much as you think. So my carbs, I recommend they come from fruits and vegetables for the first 30 days. The second thing is no naked carbs. So that means just eating carbs by themselves. Eat your fruits, eat your vegetables, have your carbs from these nutrient-dense sources that, hey, contain fiber, vitamins, and minerals, but also pair them in a complete meal. Stop just grabbing an apple and running out the door. Eat the apple with your eggs, with some avocado, get some healthy fats, some protein. Again, I'm going to go into all of these things, but for now, stop eating naked carbs, stop eating carbs from processed foods, bring your carbs in from fruits and vegetables, and you're even going to have a little extra fiber when you do that. The 5th thing that I'm going to surprise you with is you're probably under eating, and it's either not going to be in line with your goals or it's consistently backfiring. When you consistently undereat, consistently try to undereat, I should say, because most of us don't undereat for very long. You know how this works. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I have these women coming to me eating 1,000 to 1,200 calories, hitting up these HIIT training classes, walking their dogs, running after their kids, or these men who are eating 1,500 calories. And it's like, this is not in line with your goals. And I could tell that very, very adamantly from being in this industry for so long, from coaching men and women for so long. If you want to build muscle, you have to eat a little bit more. If you want to get ahead of those cravings and make sure that you're not eating in this deficit for 3 or 4 days and then literally eating everything in sight, you have to have a balance. Start with a mild caloric deficit. I can't tell you the last time I told someone, man or woman, to eat less than 1,600 to 1,700 calories. And if that seems like a lot to you right now and you're watching this video, I rest my case. Okay. So by eating in a mild deficit as opposed to extreme caloric restriction, you're going to stay ahead of your cravings. Okay. You are also going to support your thyroid and your hormones. And I don't know if anyone has ever tried to build muscle or burn body fat and their thyroid or their hormones are out of whack. Good freaking luck. All right. So eat enough, be in a mild caloric deficit, no more than 200 to 300 calorie deficit a day. If your total daily energy expenditure, the amount of calories you burn in a day, is 2,000, I wouldn't go lower than 1,800. Okay. Again, you may need one-on-one coaching to really figure this out, but that's very plain and simple. Find out the calories you burn in a day. If you wear an Oura ring, an Apple Watch, you can find it very easily there. Take that, minus it by 200 or 300. Don't drop below that. The next metabolic tip that I'm going to tell you that shows up time and time again in how my clients, but also everyone in the world, stays motivated is stop doing workouts you hate. Find what you like, because intrinsic motivation, the motivation that comes from within, is so much more powerful than extrinsic motivation. So Yes, you should be surrounded by others with similar goals. You should absolutely go to exercise classes with friends or family members. I mean, I will never dissuade that. But where people get this wrong so often, and I myself have gotten this wrong in the past, is they see an exercise class. Let's take HIIT training, for example. And they're like, well, this was hard. I felt awful at the end, but you know what? I feel like I should do this more often. And then I'm like, okay, do you like HIIT training? And they're like, well, no. And I'm like, why are you doing it 6 days a week? Let's think about this. The worst workout is the one you dread. So why are you trying to do the workouts you dread? Is it because we are taught that the more we suffer, the more fat we lose? You need to stop and think, what workout do I like? And you need to do something that you're going to stick with consistently. Because when you feel accomplished at the end and you also enjoy it, that's when you're going to do it more often and you're going to see more results. So if you like the strength train, if you like to walk, if you like Pilates, go to Pilates. If you want to join a run club, don't invite me, but go do it. Okay? All right. This brings us to the last thing, which is stress and sleep. That's it. That's the last thing. You need to get those two in order. If you have awful sleep, if you are stressed all the time, your body is not going to lose weight at the capacity you want it to. That's the last thing your body's worried about. It's like, I am sleep deprived, I'm exhausted, my hormones are a wreck, I'm constantly stressed out. So why is your body going to feel safe enough to build muscle and burn body fat? You cannot out-train or out-diet a dysregulated nervous system. So if you feel overly stressed, if you know you're not getting the type of sleep you need, then what I would recommend is start digging a little bit deeper. Find help for your nervous system. Find help with your sleep. Sleep in a cold, dark room. Seek out someone to talk to. Okay, so here is what I would do. I would have protein with every meal. I would build my meals around protein, okay? I would take walks daily, preferably after those meals, to balance my body's blood sugar response. Even a 5 or 10-minute walk is enough to help balance your blood sugar and regulate insulin. I would make sure all of my foods are coming from whole food sources, protein from the land and sea, dairy if well tolerated, carbs coming from fruits, vegetables at the right time, and also incorporating healthy fats, avocado, olive oil, again, fats from egg yolks, grass-fed beef. I would build some muscle. And honestly, yes, I'm always going to be a proponent of strength training more than anything, but if you're new to this, you can build muscle in Pilates. Hello, have you taken a Pilates class? That stuff is hard. You can build muscle in a yoga class. You can build muscle at home using your body weight. There's more than one ways to skin a cat here, people, but you need to build your muscle. And then lastly is don't try to cheat sleep and stress. You may not be able to work on all of that in the beginning, but just starting to regulate your sleep, starting to work on your nervous system is going to allow your body to realize that, hey, it's safe to burn some fat. I feel good. I can balance my hormones. I can balance my thyroid. It's all connected, guys. And that's exactly what I get into on this channel. So if you found this helpful, like, subscribe, and leave a comment to tell me what you want to learn more about. And I'm happy to help you out. Thanks, guys.